Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a sort of weird, interesting topic for you. I took this apart last night, or yesterday, and I put different bearings in it. I had these in it. Gillian salt and pepper 1/4 inch, 1/16 bearings, right? There's a couple sizes in here, that's why I kind of isolated that big one. And it had started to feel really weird, like I could feel every ball bearing rolling sort of deal, right? And when it would drop from here to there, you would hear this weird sort of noise. There's almost like a crunch to it. It wasn't like dirty, it just had this weird sound. So I took it apart and I figured I'd put in skiffs, right? Because that's what I've been doing lately. I've been using skiffs instead of Gillians because I've had issues with these seizing up, which I think that might have been what happened. I did talk to Christopher Gillian. He told me that they should not seize up. That's not a normal thing. He said it would only happen if the track, the race for the bearings is off. Like if it's not, matching up to the bearing. And then it can seize up eventually or right away or whatever, right? Which does make sense to me, sort of. But I've also never had that happen to a skiff bearing, and I've used them in the same knife. So I don't know. But he did replace a few of these because I sent them back. So anyway, I took them out and I put in a set of these. 6mm 1/16. It's sort of a new size for skiff. And basically it's like the 3/16 or the 5mm equivalent to 3/16, right? Like it's very close to 1/4 inch. You can see here, you have metric and standard, right? So 6mm 1/4 inch, they're both the same bearing size, 1/16. They both have 13 balls. The internal diameter, here you go, is 0.236 on the 6mm and 0.252 on the 1/4 inch. And overall diameter is the same, 0.420, and thickness is the same. So these are essentially identical, except for the pivot area, that hole in the center, is a little tiny bit smaller on these than the 1/4 inch. So when I took this apart, I was like, hey, maybe the 6mm are what fit in here, right? Because it's Chinese made. We've been putting 1/4 inch in everything, but maybe it's really 6mm and 1/4 inches just fit because, it's slightly larger, right? So I put them in and I Loctited it, and I had absolutely no play, and it was freaking great action, very smooth. I'm not feeling anything, right? No resistance, none of that bearing shit. Just very smooth all the way around. So I Loctited it, and then on the live last night, I had Neves Knives and Backpack B on. Shout out to them. Today is the 21st, by the way, of January, 2022. And I took it out and I flicked it, and I was, whoa. It was really stiff. Like it didn't open all the way. And then I was like, what is going on? And I don't know if I maybe had put too much Loctite in and it had seeped out around the pivot and that gunked up the action or something. So what I did after the live was I took the pivot out. I had to break the Loctite. It was already cured in like a couple hours, which is pretty cool. I really love this stuff from Vibratite, the blue. And there was a good amount of Loctite in there. I had put a good amount in, and I'm thinking maybe from previous cleanings and stuff, there was still Loctite in there. Because if you looked into the pivot at the bottom, there was like this whole big blue ring in there. And I tried to get in there with a brass rod and crack it and break it and alcohol, and I got most of it out, but not all of it. I do wonder if that's attributing to the centering. You see how it's slightly off? It's always been that way. So that makes me think it's not, but See how it's almost centered like this, but then you look at it like this, it's off to the show side. Always been that way with this thing. Anyway, I cleaned all that out, and I had put the 6mm in, so I was thinking, like, do they fit? So just now I picked it up, and I went to flick it, and it flicked fine, but I went to close it, and instead of doing that, it just stayed up, and it was weird, right? So I opened and closed it a couple times, and then I was about to start this video where I was going to disassemble this again, and I was going to put the 1/4 inches in, because I figured maybe it was just because I used these 6mm trying to be all smart, and it really does take 1/4 inch, right? And I have a bunch of 1/4 inch sizes. Or bearings. I have Delrins. I have these large sort of Kaiser ones. They're 1/4 inch. They're just larger. I guess they could be 6mm. I haven't measured them. So I have these. I have Skiffs. I have taco bearings, and I still have the Gillians, right? So I have like 4 options here. But then I was flicking it, and it just starts dropping. So I think we're good. D10 sounds good. This knife makes some acoustics. Yeah, like even last night at one point, I was opening it and it wasn't locking up. Like, I don't know what I did. I also thought maybe I over-tightened the pivot because I did kind of really crank it down. Because I hate blade play, guys. There's none, right? I hate blade play. And I hate pivot lash, which is once you disengage the lock, if you have wiggle anywhere. And I was getting that with these Gillians. But the funny thing is, the reason I put the Gillians in was because of the pivot lash. And they took it away. So I don't know why over time it started getting pivot lash with them in there. It's such a weird thing. Gillians seem to like, I don't know. It's like they age. They're like they're not like a renewable resource. You know what I mean? What am I trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Like they wear or something. I don't know. I've never had that happen with Skiffs. I'm just noticing lately, you can see I have like all my Gillians back in the bag because I keep swapping them to Skiffs because I'm having issues. But I love Christopher Gillian. I love the bearings. I've always liked the salt and pepper. So I don't know. Hopefully I get that sorted out. Maybe it's just not working with certain knives. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to go over that. I think we're good now, so I don't need to take it apart. So this is kind of a pointless video, honestly. The acoustics on this thing, man. If you can get one of these, and I mean, you don't have to mod it, but man, the mods that I had done on this just changed this knife so much. And you could keep the Teletubby, but this bark pattern, and most importantly, the access here is just so nice to have. Makes it so easy to get in there. It was so annoying to like try to shove your nail in there and shit. So yeah, I was thinking I could measure the 6mm and see exactly the difference, but it just told us 2.36 versus 2.52. I mean, it's a decent difference. I mean, not really when we're talking about, you know, tenths of an inch or whatever, hundredths of an inch almost. So I don't know if it's worth doing that, but those are taco bearings, and then these are Delrins, and then these are Gillians. I did a short on my bearing collection. Like, these are all the taco bearings. I'll start putting them back here. These are all the taco bearings in here. I have 2 sets of 5mm, 2 sets of 1/4 inch. These are all the Gillians. I have 2 sets of 5mm and a set of 1/4 inch. These are all the bearings that aren't in knives. I obviously have a bunch in the knives. These are all my Skiffs. I mean, it's an assortment, guys. I have every freaking size. And usually I have a couple of every size, just to be safe. I try to keep a good stock of 1/4 inch bearings and 5mm, I should say 1/4 inch 1/16 and 5mm 1/16. And then I try to have like at least a set of 3/16, 1/16, you know. Those are the three sizes that fit 90% of knives. Here's the Delrins. I also have the, these are all the stock ones I have kind of just laying around from disassemblies. These are Trevor Berger bearings, custom ones, 3/16 size. Where are the other Delrins? Hang on a second. Here we go. Here's the 3/16 Delrin. I have like 3 sets because I bought them and then couldn't use them. These I bought off of some website trying to think they would fit into knives. And they are like a 1/4 inch size. Where are those 1/4 inch bearings? Shit, I put them down, didn't I? Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch bearing, but it comes with this like washer. Look how thick it is, though. So like the knife would have to specifically take it, you know. But I think you put the bearing between these 2 washers. Pretty cool. But yeah, like I just have all these bearings. That's my thing, guys. I'm a bearing guy. I don't know. Do you guys have crazy amounts of bearings? Am I weird? Am I the only guy with this many bearings? It is a lot of bearings now that I'm looking at it. And they're not that cheap, guys. Like, I don't know. I probably spent like 20 bucks on this. These are like $24 each. So I have 4 in here. It's like 100 bucks. These are $20 each. I have 1, 2, 3 sets in here. So that's 60 bucks. These are like, let's call it 13 each. And I have like, God knows how many in here. 15 or 20 in here. So do the math. Delrins are, what are they? Are they 20 bucks? Or are they 10 bucks a set? I can't remember. It's either 10 or 20, but I have, you know, 4 or 5 sets of those. So I mean, that all adds up. I have like a few $100s in bearings sitting here. These are all stock, just garbage bearing. I mean, they're not, the brass ones are okay. They are usable in a lot of knives. They work well in a lot of knives. Like, I did a disassembly on my Richard Rogers OEM Slim here. And I tried different bearings, guys, and nothing would fit. Well, they fit, but the pivot didn't seem to get all the way through to the scale where it locks in, the D shape. So I was pretty sure had I even Loctited it, it wouldn't have stuck, you know. So I went with the stock bearings, and they work great. I mean, it drops, smooth shake. I mean, look how small this thing is, and it still does that. I do wish I could put oil in here, but because of the titanium lock bar, and it's maybe carbonized a little bit, it just, if you get any oil near that detent ball, it climbs onto the lock face, and you end up with a ton of stick. I've been cleaning this thing for days, and then putting a little bit of graphite on to stop the stick. I'm going to send this to Knife Modders, I think, and have them carbonize the shit out of that lock face. Just see what's up. They'll figure it out. But yeah, this knife's cool. I was looking at this knife and this knife, and they're a little similar, right? I mean, sort of a similar blade shape. We actually have a design in the works at Devo Knives that does really remind us now of the Slut. Now that I have this, we looked at it, it's like, wow, it kind of looks like a bigger Slim utility. It's not. I mean, it's different. It has a hole, and it's got some, it's not milled like this, has different stuff going on, but it's a titanium liner lock with basically a reverse Tanto sheep's foot blade, so it kind of looks like it. But everything looks like everything now, and we didn't even really know, like, I knew about this knife, but like I wasn't thinking about it when we designed it. But yeah, these look pretty cool together, right? Since I'm just rambling here, I'm just going to call this a ramble, I guess. Random Knife Rambles, random shit, right? Why not? I love this knife, though, guys. This is my favorite left-handed knife. Possibly my favorite knife. I mean, it's, you hear this thing? I don't know if you hear that ting through my, shitty iPhone mic, but... And now that I got it dropping like it's hot, I mean, it's sick, dude. This thing is dope. Knife modders for the win. I wish I would have got another one just to, like... This is what I do, man. When I have a knife I love, I want another one so that I can preserve it, Like, just to have two in case, what if I lose this, These are hard to get. Like, same with the Slut. I kind of want to get another one. By the way, it's called the Richard Rogers OEM Slim Utility, so that's why the nickname is the Slut. I'm not just being an asshole over here, okay? But if you're still watching my channel, you probably know I talk like that. I mean, I don't, shit. I don't mean I go around calling people sluts. I just mean I curse. Jesus, Kev. I'm over here, like, admitting I'm a womanizer. I'm not, trust me. I love my wife very much, and women in general. I respect you. Anyway, that was way off topic, Kev. Good job. Yeah, I kind of want to get another one of these and maybe, like, send it to Knife Modder to just do whatever, because they do some sick shit. But I don't, like, I also like to have one stock because I like the look of this, But they're $300. Like, I'm not just going to go whipping out another $300 to get another one for fun, That cuff is $450. Like, it's just a little too much. I recently got this bear. It's pronounced bear like the animal, by the way. It's spelled with an X, B-E-X-A-R, but it's pronounced bear. It's a county in Texas, and that's just how it is. I'm really loving this thing, guys. I'm not a slip joint guy, but I keep raving about this thing. Now, it was given to me by the company for review, but I'm glad they did that because I wouldn't have bought one of these. I don't think. I mean, maybe eventually